This is Weird Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. Listen to the past shows of course, Blogtalkradio. Hit up Wayward with the phone number. Text me if you want one-on-one lessons. I'm going to start monthly one-on-one lessons, which is separate from the lessons I do with individuals. That is close one-on-one lessons, and that I work with them either every day, every week. Work sometime is involved, so of course hit up Wayward for that. But you already know Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, and responsibility, and that motherfucking spell work. And you already know that art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art. Okay, so let me clarify, because I don't know if I made sense. So there's monthly lessons that I do every month. I used to do themes. I haven't did that in for a minute, or had a focus of what I'm teaching, but I haven't did that for a minute. But then there's lessons that I do with individuals that I work with them very closely with different situations, different frequencies that's going on with them, life situations, and so on. Okay, so some people text me sometimes, ask me what do I do. I'm an occultist, so I do everything depending. Okay. Anyways, let's do some spirit gossiping, because there's a lot of shit going on, and you know, as an occultist, I have questions and frequencies, and you know, just trying to get an understanding of what's going on in the universal soul. And sometimes I have to do things below my pay grade. So I'm going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta real quick. Someone told me or asked me to take a look at it, and so I was just kind of nosing around, and I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on. And so anyway, I see this season is very interesting, and it has some new people on there with some interesting frequencies. The troubling thing about this new season is, I guess in the words of Andre Leon, beauty or famine beauty, and beauty is famine. Just like the fashion industry is under famine, right? What I'm saying here is Black women used to have class, and we used to have a beauty that nobody else can even compare. It was very distinct. And it's very weird looking at Black women cut their face up, fuck it up, and trying to be white women who trying to be Black women, but then Black women trying to be Black women who trying to act like white women, but then trying to act like white women who want to be Black women. Then they disfigure their face because they're going to, you know, Koreans and all these other people to get their nose done and so on, and going to, you know, to Dubai, and going to, you know, Dominican Republic, and you know, all those places, and Colombia, and Bangkok, Thailand, and just getting all this shit done. Then they go to the chop shops of Florida. Then I'm sure, of course, they have people over there in Atlanta, but these people are just witch doctors that want to fuck up who we are. And I'm just wondering, what kind of contract are these people signing that says get plastic surgery, get butt, get breasts? It's like, whoa, and looking at them is just totally ridiculous. And Black women just didn't look like that. And even if they did get work, it was a little bit here and a little bit there. It's so much so that they looking like trans men or transvestites. You know what I mean? So, and I was looking at some of the women on there, I'm like, God damn, that's not real. That's not real frequencies, because on Earth, men don't date that. On Earth, men do not date that. Okay? It's not real. And even if you do see a man, especially white men, and their wives up there looking like lions, tigers, and bears, they end up cheating on them anyway with a more natural looking woman. That's for sure. Okay? And if you guys looking at that Sanchez chick, well, she's just a gargoyle, because they about to send her up to where Kalamazoo somewhere on a planet. And you see Jeff Bezos haven't married that ass yet. Because you see his other wife was a plain Jane. Don't get it fucked up. Men on wealth don't marry a whole bunch of plastic surgery. If they do, again, they'll cheat on them for some natural frequency. Okay? Anyways, let's talk about this bullshit. I was looking at the first episode, I guess season 16. Portia back. I'm assuming Phaedra coming back later. I'm a little bit curious. Is Kenya a friend of the show? Because it seemed like she had to get permission to kind of walk around and move around. I guess Cynthia back. I don't know what that energy is. I think a better cast would be Portia, maybe Kenya, maybe put Cynthia somewhere. Phaedra's okay. I think Steve Harvey's wife should be on there. Like, can we get some women that for real have, like, husbands? Because you see Candy over there trying to get a Tony for some Othello shit. I don't know what that shit is about. I guess some play. I don't understand how they giving all these other people chances when there's so many people in school. There's so many screenwriters and playwriters that would like to have an opportunity. It's like this weird circle of gargoyles. I guess you got to be a gargoyle and shit and fly away to even get a chance, right? Because I guess I was reading something about Candy doing something on Broadway and they giving fake kudos to it. And I think Denzel Washington's supposed to be connected to that shit. I don't know. Y'all can look it up. Okay? So anyway, I went to the left and right. So I was looking at the show. I said, oh, this is a whole horoscope affair. We have a Taurus and Pisces against a Cancer. We have Shamia, I guess, Portia's friend, appearing to look like she runs shit. And people believing Shamia was hidden and basically Portia was hiding her being a hater. You got Shamia married to some Kenyan. And I'm wondering, what is the destination of Kenyans? Because they sure look a lot like Ethiopians and Somalians. So what are they? And then Ethiopians don't even like the Kenyans too much. They say that they cater to white folks. So what is all these African people? Are black American women being sold to African men? Because that's all I've been seeing. It's very interesting. Okay, so I guess Shamia's husband's supposed to be like some kind of contractor. I don't know, architect. I'm not really sure. Okay, no judgment is what it is. I'm really surprised, if that is so, because there's a lot of architects and inventions. Just like right now, I was listening to something where they're trying to make what is it? A no charge up or whatever, no gassed vehicle. What's it? A electronic motorcycle, a new electronic vehicles, no charging and no plugging televisions in Africa. Somebody gonna steal that shit from them and then make a patent. Some probably Asian or something, because that's all they do is steal different inventions. That's why I told you, I know for a fact that black people created AI and GPT and all that shit. I was looking at something, reading it, and they was talking about almost like it was like a hazmat, like a suit that a black person invented to, I guess, to go into like the underground and to save people. And at first people were scared of it. So the black man who invented it, ended up putting it on and going saving people. And then allegedly he gave his patent to white people. So today, that's why you see people like in hazmat suits, with certain like helmets and so on, firemen. All that is because of a black man who designed it. But again, they probably forced him to give his patent away and took it. Anyway, I didn't went to the left. So I'm listening, I'm looking. They made the whole show just about Shamia and meeting these new chicks that's on some messy shit. I really don't understand what's going on. Drew just need to take her black ass back to Hollywood because she's a Hollywood chick. She comes off that way. I said she's so fucking annoying because she was talking to Portia like Portia was stupid. I'm like, oh, she's just so Hollywood. Portia believes that she's a celebrity. She believes she's a star. She believes that she's famous. But she's just a person on reality television, all of them. Technically, Kenya is not even that. She just lucked up on the being a beauty queen. I don't know. So I think the only one right now that have any frequency would be, I guess, Drew on some real shit. And you know, most of the time they play this game like they're so rich, rich, rich. But if you're rich, 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 then why are you on reality television showing everything? Rich people do not get on television showing their rich business. And you know, every time you look, somebody, oh, they got a Rolls Royce, they got this, they got that, they got this, they got that. And the bottom line is that, well, we don't know if that's leased. Because, you know, people then told the business about Cynthia and Nene and said they broke back Mountain every time they would get on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and every time they have a, you know, some kind of product going or marketing concept, the shit was just part of the show. And then you don't see it anymore. It wasn't real. They were talking about how Cynthia and Nene is really broke bitches, allegedly. Because rich people don't fancy pants on television or, well, social media, streaming, whatever you want to call it. That's the bewitchery. That's the witchcraft of it all. It's fake. Lucifer is prideful. Remember I keep talking about Lucifer and the devil? The devil used Lucifer to cause an illusion. Have you niggas up in dream states. Have some of you people in Atlanta thinking you cute. And you're not. That's why some of y'all was living in them U-Haul trucks, huh? Got caught up in them ranches and shit. Y'all should be going down there going to college and shit, minding your fucking business or having some kind of ownership. I guess it's difficult considering that New York, when it moved their asses down there, changed the whole dynamics and frequencies of Georgia, we'll say. And then you got niggas running down and talking about this Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood is not Atlanta. Black Hollywood has always been over here. But we got to think about it. Hollywood started in the East Coast. It started in New York first, and then they came and pushed it over here. Frequencies. I was talking to a spiritual constituents, and we was talking about a rise in the East but sets in the West. That's an interesting frequency right there. The sunrise. Boom. Starts in the East, it ends here because of the frequencies, right? And we up here being bewitched, looking at this shit. The Real House of Atlanta is played out. Then women are played out. That's not real. That's in air. Their whole life is in air. Because I just don't know why everybody just don't admit it. Everybody is a damn prostitute. Your hoes. Prostitution. I'm not saying all. But it's very clear what Phaedra been doing. Especially when she went to Dubai. God damn. But again, when I was looking at everything, I said they just telling a whole story tale. None of it makes sense. They're creating shit where there's nothing. And then now that weird shit with Drew's husband, did you see that? That nigga living in the basement and they can only talk to each other on a fucking app? Where you get that from? When did black women start being like white women like that? Black people been getting nigga divorces. How in the fuck does Drew and her husband hate each other so much and you got kids? That nigga living downstairs. That doesn't make sense. That's illogical. That's for streaming purposes. That's a story tale. Now all of a sudden she might be messing around with Portia's husband, ex-husband, or whatever, the father of her child. It's not shocking. It's a Taurus. Don't be offended. Y'all be on whole business. Y'all will sleep with people's husbands and men. So we're not going to play them games. I told y'all about SWV. One Cancer, one Gemini, and one Taurus. Always side chicks. Always will cheat with your man. You too, Gemini. Don't play. I know about y'all Tauruses. Y'all be on some shit. I was telling somebody about my Aunt Betty. It's on my father's side. She was always sleeping with people, men. I remember somebody's wife called up while she was sleeping with their husband. She picked up that phone and said, bitch, you're going to have to step aside and stand in line with the rest of them. Take a ticket, because I'm here right now. I told you about my Aunt Betty. I'm not about to see all that bullshit, that horoscope going on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they all have all that plastic surgery going on. Again, black women beauty is in famine mode. I miss what we used to look like. It's a shame. Again, like I said, my black sons don't even believe that black women have hips and big butts anymore. That's natural. They think it's all BBLs. They won't believe it. I'm horrified that my sons go look at other races of women because they feel that they're natural looking. I'm horrified. I'm not going to sit up here and play games. I said, that's a cold game and that's a cold bewitchery. Some of y'all say, well, you got that wig on your head, but bitch, I could take it off. You got them lashes on. I sure as fuck too. And I take this shit right off. But that has nothing to do with lip fillers and all that shit. Like I said, I don't have a problem with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But in the long run, we really don't know what that's going to do to us in our tissues in the long run. But getting all that goddamn surgery, goddamn, I told you that I believe some of that is muling and trafficking. Because you can hide shit in the breast and ass. Black women are so insecure. You're insecure. But I don't know what against. Men? Black men? Transvestites? Transsexuals? Gay men? That you fucked up your beauty? You let a black man's warlock lips talk you into something to fuck yourself up? You made a deal with the devil? They made a deal with the devil. That's why they look like that. The devil is a liar. The devil will have you transforming yourself, huh? I was looking at that. What is it? Watch what happens now? With the guy from Bravo. Portia and Law Roach ass was on there. Both of them are Cancers. I was heated. Cancer men are bitch ass niggas. I can only tolerate them so much. Some are cool, some are fucked up. Some are very interesting. Many are competitive. It's the 6 to the 9 to the 9 to the 6. Which one? Right? And I was looking at Law Roach around Portia. And his energy was trying to make her feel a ways. Whatever's going on with him and that host, that's gay business. But Portia was trying her best to be cool with Law Roach. I don't know what's behind closed doors, but you know, male cancers will put on a whole show and will humiliate the fuck out of you in front of people. I'm not about to play with them. I'm talking about the darker part of horoscopes. And it's a trade energy. Male cancers are always feminine. Women cancers are always masculine. But if you go back and look at it, Portia had the personality. And he was at the, and I said, oh, okay. Then I did a comparison when I seen him with Jaden Smith. They was up there looking like two church ladies. I don't know what's up with Jaden Smith, but more and more I look at him, it's like sometimes they have him in feminine mode, but then he works himself out of it, then he become masculine again. I can tell in reality, Jaden Smith would have been heterosexual. Even how he walks. I said, oh, he didn't got out of the energies right now. And then they'll pull him back into it. And now when I look at Jaden Smith and his body type, how skinny he is, because you know that's the trend, it really makes me look at, you know, a lot of the industry, how the illusion, how we up there thinking it's women, but it's really men. Do you see how they cut, how he, with the clothes he had on, and how his waistline was so sharp? That, back in the day in fashion, men would love the designers and stylists, would love to dress women with that type of energy, but now they love dressing men that way. Then the prison energy is coming back with the sagging pants down underneath your butt. Jaden Smith had that shit on. I like Jaden Smith. He's an interesting specimen. But when I seen he and Law Roach together, I was like, oh, okay. That's a different energy. Always is. Right? I was minding my business. And I got on that damn social media. And that Muni long. So when I say Muni, because in San Francisco we have Muni, and it's spelled the same way, so hopefully I'm pronouncing it the right way. Muni long. She was on a live. I said, what the fuck she doing? I was surprised. So I sat there nosing around looking at her. And it had the blue dot with the check. And I said, well, okay, this is supposed to be her for real, right? So then as I'm looking at her, she was like, okay, I'm going to take off my lashes. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take that off. And she had on a bodysuit. And I was looking at her body. Her torso was very elongated. Her shoulders were very masculine. Them hips didn't seem real. Because women's hips and thighs, it's not a circular, okay? So remember I said that whole figure 8 effect, that's men, that's not women. Women are not figure 8s. Men can be, okay? So when more and more I was looking at that shape, I said, that's that man shape. Like black men who shape their bodies and it curves, or they're wearing a prosthetic, or they're wearing I call it a transvestite undergarment. I call it Foxy 7. So I said, what's up with Moni Long? With Moni Long. So then as I started looking, all of a sudden, she had a bulge. And I said, she's a skinny woman. Why would her vagina be that fucking big? Yeah, I'm looking. And I said, And so I just stared, and I went in, I went out, I took pictures. I said, that is a dick. And it looked like it's tucked. So me and the spiritual constituents, I was telling I was spooked. And she said, shit, you know that they put fillers in the vaginas now. I said, that's weird. I said, that's off-putting, but that's an illusion, because that's leading into something. If we see more women that have a bulge like that, thinking it's these, prosthetics, or they didn't got their vaginas done, or they didn't did this and did that, then we can't tell the difference between a man and a woman. Because when I looked at that Moni Long, I was like, what the fuck is that? So then I went into the pictures online on Google Daggers. And when I went on Google Daggers, it said she's between, either she's 36 or 38. So then I was looking at her energy. I said, well, is she the magic person? Is she one of those abracadabras? So then I had to look at her frequencies, and I said, well, I don't see where it can transpose, but then I can see the illusion within her frequency. Okay. So then I'm like, what the fuck? I said, that's a man. So then I compared it of what I seen online with the pictures. And I went, this person on live, that's a dude. So did they just swipe out the real woman for a man? Because then this is what made it very interesting. Through the live, this person that they call Moni Long was breathing hard as fuck. And he admitted it, that he was breathing. He couldn't, it was like, what the fuck was going on? He was like, oh, I have respiratory issues, or what's going on? How you have respiratory issues and you sane? Because you have to breathe in a certain, you have to breathe. But in the way, it was as if this person that they call Moni Long was having some kind of anxiety attack. So this person was breathing hard. Then they had to get that gadget, and I took a picture of it. And it's the gadget that basically cleans out your sinuses. And then the person said, well, I have to clean out my sinuses. I got to put it through my nose because I can't use straight water, because then I'll get mold and all that stuff. I said, okay, so you're breathing hard. You can't breathe properly. You're using a machine to clean out your nose. It looked like you having anxiety. Then I was looking at the house. I said, that house looked weird as fuck. Then the person went in the bedroom, then sat on their bed, and I was looking at, their headboard. I said, that looked like a weird headboard. I said, what, hold on, what's going on here? Where is this person living, right? Like, what's up? So anyway, then all of a sudden, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, they really out here playing games with us, right? Then the person said they like dragons. I said, okay, that makes sense. Dragon, drag queen, drag queen. Dragons are transformable. Dragons can swim and do all this shit. Okay, I get you. Okay, drag. So then I was like, oh, wow. So then, as I'm listening more and more, then he started trying to sing. He couldn't sing shit. The voice was cracking and everything. I said, well, usually when people are in their energies, they'll actually can sing properly. I said, this is a cold game and a cold piece of work and a cold piece of spell work. And so I said, wow. So understand what you're looking at, and you think that's her, it's a him. And we're going to say allegedly. Okay? We're going to say allegedly to all of this, but I know what the fuck I seen and what it was looking like. And then underneath the bodysuit, it was some weird panties that she had on that looked like it was holding it together. Something was very interesting. Told you, spirit gossip. Doechii. Doechii been in all these fashion shows, right? Chloe, Tom Ford, D Square, Valentino, Louis Vuitton, and more, right? She's been the hit of Paris Fashion Week. But we don't know where this foster child came from, this group home baby. We don't know if she's a fucking IVF child. We don't know shit. All we know is they done soul mounted Nicki Minaj, Azalea Banks, and for show, Grace Jones when you see a touch of Donna Summer. I'm looking at the energies of the horoscope, and I'm looking at the calculations and how each horoscope is placed to understand the frequencies and the end game. So it would make sense for Doechii to steal from Azalea Banks and Nicki Minaj. Myself and the spiritual constituents, we were cracking up and we said that basically she's Roman. And I said, she is Roman, isn't she? And then the person said they didn't took Roman out of Nicki Minaj, and now Doechii is Roman. And I said, yes, she is the little boy. And the little boy name is Roman Samuel. The way it jumps, moves, energies, and all. It comes from Italy. It comes from, what's it called, Pautenza? Yes, it's a Damien. Yes, it's a frequency. So now Roman is on the loose, right? And we can't control it. And people are having an issue with Doechii because they said it's something about her, right? I said, yeah, she's a created entity. She's a gargoyle. Okay? And it's very interesting with Fashion Week, and well, Paris Fashion Week was very what I call Afrocentric, Afro-punk, Afro-tribe, Afro-native, Afro-goth. Very much so. And isn't it very interesting that they have replaced Lady Gaga with that Chapel Hill? Isn't that very interesting? Isn't it very interesting that they keep trying to bring back the 70s and 80s within Fashion Week, that whole energy? They want that old feeling back, don't they? But it's not going to come back. Isn't it funked up how the industry then totally just made Sukahana a whole prostitute in front of our eyes? I never seen no shit like that before, that they have really put her down. So we know she fucking anything and everything. We know she pegs white men and all. We know what the fuck she does. She says she got that good snap, that she could take all size dicks. She's acting like a gay man. Black women need to stop acting like gay men. You need to stop sucking dick like gay men. Because gay men out here be sizing up niggas, talking about this nigga got a little dick, this celebrity got a little dick, this man got a big dick. We are not supposed to be concerned how gay men fuck and the size of dicks they like, because their dicks go into an asshole. That's a different frequency. And when they suck dick, their throat game is a little bit deeper, and their jawbones are a little bit stronger. So it has a stronger hold in a different frequency. So you shouldn't be up there learning dick sucking from a man, and you shouldn't be listening to a man talk about how other men dicks are big or small because you're a woman. That's y'all problem. You got to let them have their world. A spiritual constituent was telling me how he has a friend that's a plastic surgeon, and they're talking about more and more bottoms are coming in and getting reconstructive surgery because their asses are caving in or it's being towed up inside out. Because there's a connection with anal and kidney disease and liver issues. We're going to say allegedly, but look it up. That's why it's so much organ harvesting going on out here. Y'all taking up all that common shit, and women think they're supposed to do that too. I had a spiritual constituent telling me that a down low lesbian she wanted to get gang banged in the butt and be treated like a gay man. This is what's going on in the universe. So people like Sukahana, you have to be careful with that energy. Did you see that shit with Bad Baby? A clip came up because they allegedly saying that she's getting through her cancer, but it was a energy that she was talking with DDG, the one that has the baby by Chloe. No, is it Haley? Haley Bailey. And they were talking about aliens and stuff like that. And Bad Baby said, there are people out there. And they look like you and I, but they far, far away. I believe every bit what she's saying, because she would know. You got to remember how Dr. Phil trafficked the fuck out of her, and she was trying to tell us. See, we forget when Dr. Phil would have all them young girls on his show and then send them to a ranch. Do you guys remember that? When he used to send all them girls to ranches, and Bad Baby was trying to tell us. Well, ever since then, she talked about them dang aliens. I think her boyfriend got shot, and then they tried to do a home invasion, which connects back to Gail King. They trying to send them up in the universal soul for them to never come back, and she's saying she's having a nervous condition. And I think, who is it? Katy Perry, that Sanchez, suppose we're gonna, and I don't know the other person. And Gail don't want to go allegedly, but she's speaking in Capricorn codes, and talk about that Katy Perry, the human. So who's not human? And she doesn't want to go. They can't even allegedly get them other people down that been up there since June. And the Indian lady is just like she just spiraling. She's not looking good. But then we don't know it's real, because they may not be above. They may be in some water and they can't get to them. They may be in the ocean somewhere real deep. They somewhere, but I don't think it's in the universal soul. Right? You're just talking. We're just having a conversation, right? Did y'all see that shit? I guess that happened in Congress with Trump kicking out Al Green. So when I heard that he kicked out Al Green, I said, I didn't know Al Green was a congressman. So I'm up there waiting for Al Green to come out, and I'm like, what? When did he get elected? Who is he? I'm ignorant as fuck. It wasn't Al Green, it was this other man. But what was embarrassed about that was I heard, we shall overcome. The fuck? What kind of games they playing? But what y'all didn't see was whoever was in that costume, in that mask that Trump had on. It was horrible because you could see it stretch. People talking about Gavin Newsom is going to have a podcast talking about maybe them electing his ass in 2028. They always playing games. They want us to all hate Trump to basically elect Newsom. It's all a game. It's just a circle. Newsom then sat up and reneged and said that no boys or men can play in girls' sports and shit. In California, what's this woman's name? It's a code game and a code spell. Kristi Noem. I guess she deals with Homeland Security. They have, I don't know if you guys have it, but they have a commercial. Basically, she telling illegals, get your ass up out of here. If you don't get out of here, we gonna come find you. Come back when you come in the right way. I said, what kind of spell work is this? I have never seen that. Who does that? Who gets on a fucking commercial threatening people to leave America? But you want to know what's fucked up about it? People who were already here before all this shit went down, who applied for their asylum, they're playing games now and trying to deny their asylum. So before all of this went on, they were already, up for their asylum, the attorneys and so on. And now the attorneys are playing games with those people. Because I know somebody that is happening to. And I said, oh shit, they trying to. But I knew it was something up because she works for a school. And the school was in on it. I knew it was something weird. With that whole asylum shit. They don't care. They want people gone. But when you got commercials like that, that's a cold game and a cold piece of spell work. And they were up in there chanting USA. You want to know what's also insulting? There was a speech, I believe Jesse Jackson may have done it in the 60s, right? Because I seen that he did it on Sesame Street. I had no clue Sesame Street was really targeted and marketed for Black children and Latino children. And as I looked at it, I said, that makes a lot of sense. I told you when I was in New York, I seen Maria. And I was like, hi, Maria. And she gasped. I said, oh, okay. You know me, Maria from Sesame Street. But that was a while ago when I seen that ass up in a damn restaurant. Anyway, he was on there with his speech. In his speech, it says, I am somebody. And I know for sure that was directed and it was for melanated Black people, because when his ass went to my church, he made us say it. And we was all up in the damn crowd saying what I am somebody, and he was on and on and on and on. So therefore, it's very interesting how they have taken Black energy and made it inclusive. That's a cold spell, that's a cold game, and that's a cold reality, right? So anything of the past that we have done that was Black orientated, they have created an inclusive frequency. So go and look at the speech of Jesse Jackson and who and what it was directed to, and the chant and the melanin, and look how now they have watered it down and made it inclusive because they made it into an NFL commercial. That's a cold spell. That's bewitchery. Okay, so understand, anything that's melanin and that we have done, they're going to take it and make it inclusive. Is psychological, and then tell you that you're wrong for even thinking about having an issue. Okay, it was for Black pride to get it was an energy, right? Then what's also very interesting, I'm about tired of these millennials and some of these Gen Zs getting on these podcasts, running a fucking mouth about Black issues. It's this show called Daytime Talk After Dark. And a Black woman, a Black man was on that show with a white woman, and she was talking about how black people talk in codes. Of course, white people nosy as a motherfucker, so they're going to ask you, well, what is it? Well, instead of her saying it's a secret, her ass went on to talk about the shit. Then the black man followed behind her. I said, oh, hell no. So now you're still giving them insight about us. Who in the fuck is paying you black people to get into these frequencies, always giving up all of our codes? So therefore now white people are going to look at that, and we're going to be in a crowd of white people, and if we see another black person, they're going to be like, now look, eye contact. Okay, look at that. Oh, they just give me a tab. Oh, look at it. Da, 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 da. God damn. But if that was a white person and you asked them the same fucking question, a white person be like, oh, Susan, I gotta go make dinner right now. I'll talk to you later. But wait a minute, Jan, I need to, no. Talk to you later, bye. All the time. You can't ask white people shit, because they ain't gonna tell you. They'll tell you very little and then change the subject on you, then walk away from you. Or gaslight you. Or treat you like a child and act like you should know. They don't need to know. It's okay. Okay? You know what's also very interesting? They were giving an honor to women in dance. And it was supposed to be people of color in dance or something like that, right? They gave a shout out to Tony Basil, the one who did the song Oh Mickey. And you know, they've talked about her in years because she's supposed to be this well-known and world-renowned pop locker. But really, she reminded me of that white woman that was in the Olympics breaking. And as I'm looking at her more and more, I said, this bitch is horrible. Who in the hell gave her props? And it was, and I used to think Tony Basil or Basil, whatever, was Latina. Then I researched, she's fucking Italian. So we're just going to call her a white woman for now. I'm not going to even play them games with y'all, because that's what it is. I say with all the black women that pop locks and all this, is that syndrome of having that white girl. She could do it. We can all do it. See, you guys don't know that that's a psychological warfare. I studied this, that, and it's always a white woman that they have do it. They will have a whole black and they would do this a lot in movies. Like, I'm just saying Shogun. Just say Shogun was a whole musical, right? So it'd be all these black people, cooning it up, performing, doing whatever. And here come the white woman, and she gonna show you, I could do it, we can all do it. Is that syndrome? It's psychological. You always understand in the scene, and they talked about this, that you either going to have a white man or you're going to have a white woman trying you. Okay? Just watch old movies, especially movies that are musical. Some kind of way, a white woman is going to walk herself into it, or a white man's going to walk themselves into it, because it's to show, it's an illusion to say, we could do it too. You're not the only one. It's psychological, but it's almost like, in a way, they're fooling, they're mimicking you. Okay? I be watching Tony Basil now pop lock. I be like, this bitch horrible. Did y'all see that story that is really an old story, but they kept it under wraps? And it's this Indian woman that's allegedly from Trinidad, and her name is Annie Doechii. She's Indian, and they said that she how can I say? They said that she committed the worst crime lab scandal in U.S. history. That she fucked up fucked up drug results tests, dry lab samples, and tampered with evidence. And I think she only did a couple of years in jail, and she messed up 40,000 cases. Did they ever talk about that Indian woman? And she faked a PhD? Black people can't even fake a high school diploma. They already on your ass. You didn't graduate from junior high. You're not getting anywhere, nigga. You're just not. You see that whole scandal with the nurses shit. They couldn't get away with that, but this woman faked a whole PhD and then got a job in a crime lab and fucked up everything. We just talk about bewitchery, right? I seen something very interesting. I seen that Octomom. I'm very suspicious of this spell work, okay? Octomom was an experiment. They had everybody angry with this woman, concerned about her pockets and her business and her money. And we didn't realize that they may have gotten this woman from a psych ward or she was some kind of test dummy. Because I guess they're going to do a documentary about her now. And we have to understand the government been taking care of this woman and her kids all along. That it was a whole experiment and it was a social experiment for the later frequencies of IVF. Okay? She's the mother of IVF. But we're going to say IVF have always been around. And then the other energy of IVF is technically frozen eggs and sperm. And then putting the sperm in an egg is technically IVF. Because any woman could be the incubator. Okay? And the spiritual constituents was telling me about, I guess, a story of a woman who have the oldest egg, which was 27 years. But just imagine that they've been doing that. And my spiritual constituents made a great point to me. And she brought up like Damon Wayans. And she said, you notice how Damon Wayans' son looked just like him? I said, yeah. She's like, well, how do you know that's not from another family member? Meaning the egg. I said, I see what you're saying. Like literally, they could take all of Damon Wayans' mother's eggs, meaning his mom, his son's grandmother, freeze them. Them sons can have wives or whatever. Take Damon Wayans' sperm and then insert the sperm inside the mother's eggs. Plant that in the woman. There you go. And then they give us the illusion of these people coming back from the grave, and that's really what's going on all along. They don't want to tell us that they've been doing this shit. What's her name? Was it Tidra Mosley? And she looked like, it's a Tidra Mosley, and she looked like Felicia Rashad. How do we know they didn't take Felicia Rashad's egg? Freeze that shit. Get another family member of Felicia Rashad, a man. Put them eggs together, and do you have Tidra Mosley? I'm just saying. They out here doing on top of stuff. But with that energy, I would love to see what them placentas look like. Did y'all hear about the judge that got her ass caught up in the UK? And they accused her of basically enslaving a woman and also getting free child care. And she's part of the United Nations judge, and she's a high judge in Uganda, in the high courts, and she got caught in the UK. And I found that very interesting that she was convicted, because the funny thing about that is that how come in Africa they don't convict those missionaries of setting up shop, especially the Adventists and Mormons, and up there enslaving the African people, use them as sex slaves, babysitter for their children, housemaids, and so on? How come that is not happening? How come they are not prosecuting these missionaries who kidnap children and grown women and bring them to America and then put them in different households in America and have them as maids and baby breeders? I'm trying to understand, but they went and prosecuted this African woman. But right here, we have whole churches that have a whole energy going on. We just talking, right? Crimes against humanity. So, they didn't sat Simone Biles down, and I guess she's supposed to be a sports spiritualist now. However, they have two energies that maybe we should watch for. One is Morgan Price and one is Bree Clark. So I guess they're going to be the kind of the new energies to watch for, the new gymnasts. I'm just saying. So they're letting us know that somebody else is going to replace Simone Biles. However, did you see that shit with the black girl bopping the other girl with the baton in the track energy, and everybody all mad and they didn't file assault charges and stuff? I would have bopped her ass upside the head too, but don't hold me in high regard, because you're not going to sit up and beat my ass and I'm thinking I'm going to fucking win and you going to come on the side of me. Hell yeah, I'm going to pretend that I hit you with the baton so your ass can, fall and shit. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I understand why the parents allegedly haven't called that girl to make sure she's okay. I understand she could have died and busted her head, but I'm just being realistic here. Hell, if I think I'm going to win and all of a sudden somebody come up on the side of me, no telling what I'll do. I'm just being human. Y'all lying. Because fucking well, if you was in the stand and you see your kid running, you like, go, go. Oh my God. And you want that child to win? And then something. I didn't see nothing. I showed that to my son. He was appalled. He was like, Mom, I can't believe that. That's not good. She shouldn't have done that. You don't do stuff like that. I said, oh, well. Oh, he said, Mom, you're not right. Just wonder if that was me. Would you think it's okay for me to do that? I said, fuck yeah. He said, okay, I am out of here. Because my kids believe that they're fair, allegedly. You see, J.D. Vance own damn cousin then sat up and said he's an idiot. Then I'm finding out that John Wayne Gacy might be his motherfucking father, because they put a side by side of John Wayne Gacy and him. I said, oh. The serial killer? Because those serial killers, they were talking about, a lot of them were government officials, and they was pulling them from the asylums, and they were paid individuals to go out and commit these type of crimes, just like Jeffrey Dahmer. Anyways, I said that perfectly could be his goddamn father. Or some kind of relations, because his mama's interesting, but then they turn around talking about that J.D. Vance may have some wealth. However, they busting his ass. They're busting his ass out because they saying that his damn mother-in-law benefited from that DEI. I told y'all. I bet you his mother-in-law benefited from the DEI, affirmative action, and all that shit. And so they're calling him out, saying how in the fuck in her position and she benefited from affirmative action, civil rights movement, and DEI, and you have the audacity? I said his wife benefited too. What you talking about? Being from California, allegedly? See, the problem is that because they're the imposters and the original people were dark blue, indigo complexion with kinky hair, and they spoke a certain way. Those are the ones that are talked about that are next to the Ethiopians. But then the imposters came and took over. Here's a little spirit gossip, right? They got that goddamn blue, was it not the blue moon, the red moon coming with the supposed eclipse. I don't know if that shit is real or not. It doesn't appear to be real to me. Because especially here, they didn't set up and put chemtrails up in the sky and caused a whole storm to happen. Now I'm suspicious. I don't believe that Mother Nature is creating a lot of these storms. I think it's man. Because as soon as I see them put chemtrails in the sky, it started raining and storming and being windy and cold again. However, we're supposed to be under this eclipse, and then some black people talk about this is the indigenous eclipse. Do work. I ain't doing work under nothing. I don't know what that is. I don't be listening to all that goddamn bullshit. Because most native people would say don't do work under any eclipse. That's old school shit that talks about that. The thing that's whooping me is that what the fuck happened to the Southern California fires? What happened to Altadena? You go look up this energy. They act like it was never a fire. Meanwhile, there are other fires and hurricanes and tornadoes happening. You know what a crazy ass story is that over there at that Santa Monica beach, they say they're alleging that there's this young lady that got displaced and she was sleeping on the beach, so she's homeless. And so basically they found her beaten up to death, I think in under some covers or something like that. So then she's from Atlanta. She's not even from California. She's from Atlanta. And then she had that dang third eye dot on her head. I said, what prostitution shit was popping off over there? What's it called? Palisades or Palisades? Because they were saying she was living over there and she got displaced. And I'm like, she's sleeping on the beach, huh? And dead. I seen where that Crump, that Benjamin Crump finally showed up for the black people in Altadena. They're not talking about that part. He finally showed up. And the man was so angry, he said, well, we've been waiting for your ass to come. Well, guess what? He wasn't going to come. Because he's part of the problem. He was too busy accepting awards for at the NAACP, I guess. Who knows? This energy with Caleb Wilson, huh? This is very interesting. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what people are talking about with Caleb. You know that man that Trump and sat up and made him an honorary FBI or cop? Why they lying and talk about he's 11 and 13 years old and he has a whole goatee going down his goddamn lip? And I'm supposed to feel sorry and not say shit because he had brain surgery. There's something suspicious. I said he's like Webster and Gary Coleman. And he talks very interesting, but some of you guys would say, he's just smart. He's just this. He's just suspicious to me. Something's up. Because when you see his pictures and he looked like he's under MK Ultra, I want to know how they find him. Who does he belong to? What is he about? What is this about? That grown man. Anyway. This is what they have to say about Caleb Wilson, that whole fake ass story talking about fraternities, allegedly. More information about Caleb Wilson and his family. His daddy is the personal security for Gail Benson, the owner of the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans. Those organizations and her are supposedly under investigation for giving the resources to the Catholic Church in New Orleans to hide the child sexual abuse being done by the priests. Also, the warehouse where he was killed is owned by this councilman in Baton Rouge, who is allegedly on tape fucking punks. Not punk, but punks. You know, Louisiana, Ponks. Okay? And that councilman is in a lawsuit with the city of Baton Rouge, suing him regarding construction permits. Also, the area where the warehouse is located is in the area that allegedly Baton Rouge secret sex district, as in social clubs for swinging and fetishes take place in them. When you see them, you will never think such energies like that takes place. So we're going to stop with this fraternity shit, right? Because allegedly the first young man that they arrested, there isn't any information of him going to Southern. Actually, they said the information is coming up at LSU. His information. And it doesn't make sense because he had already graduated, and they said that usually it's called Dean of Pledges. And the Dean of Pledges are individuals who go to the school, who are in the fraternities, who are still in the school, not graduated. So these people they're arresting, they're not even at the school. So what's going on here? Then you have people from Los Angeles involved. You have council members involved. You have, what's his name, Cleveland Don. All of this energies. You have, I'm just talking. I'm just reporting the news. You have this person that's supposed to name be Todd Smith, who used to be who graduated in 2013. You have all these people involved, right? Allegedly. You have energies of Todd Smith talk about licking on a lollipop and all this energy going on. So why don't they don't want to tell the truth of what's really in the warehouse and what really was going on? As I read, and other people are coming in talking about it, just like that energies with the police officers in that warehouse, sexually assaulting and raping motherfuckers up in the warehouse. And you got the sex energy going on in Baton Rouge. And then you have HBCUs as a corporate entity. You have energies going on with fraternities and sororities into the dark world, dark life, and all that energy being hired to do interesting shit, even being on fucking Tubi. Stop playing. We heard about the prostitution going from Alabama to Texas and Atlanta with the sororities. You have energies going on with organ harvesting. You have videos roaming around that people didn't see, and people have brought up allegedly, the video of Caleb and energies and stuff like that going on. We talk about the purge. There's all this dark shit going on, and black people getting their asses all up in shit that they don't even know about. It's none of my business, but I'm just reporting the spirit gossip, what people talking about. Okay? We're talking about, it even goes back to even Sandra Bland in Texas. And people talk about what the fuck was really going on with that story. Okay, it goes all the way to George Floyd and that, what's it, that Chevron person or whatever, how Elon Musk was going to get him out. Then they changed their fucking mind, and how George Floyd was really a mule and a dope man, and how allegedly the officer that supposedly killed him, his wife is connected to that other Asian officer. Everything is a circle. Then they talking about how George Floyd has this energy and connection allegedly with Beyonce. And don't get it fucked up about Beyonce, because there's so much shit on her whole business. So we're not going to even talk about all that. And then niggas running around here talking about that Jay-Z baby fucking autistic. I'm going to put that on the shelf for next time. So anyway, this energy with Caleb is a whole mess. It goes even into what we call the shoplifting of them hiring college students. Remember, I was trying to figure out for the long time. I was like, hey, are these people coming from Latin countries? Where are they from? Remember that Carly Richard? Remember that mess? Mercedes? How is this connected to Angie Stone? What is going on? Okay? And we don't want to talk about it. They even up here trying to connect John Bell Edwards. He not even the governor anymore. And with me talking, I want you guys to put everything together, because they're talking about how these elites be needing transplants, harvesting, purge, sex energy, getting paid, crimes, fraternities. Now they want to remove the fraternities and sororities. The funny thing with that energy, fraternities and sororities, is a frequency of connection. I was just looking at Eastern Stars have a parade. I didn't realize how strong and powerful Eastern Stars are. And people talk about they're just a bunch of witches. So what? You wondering how and where some of these damn actors coming from? Shit, they coming from them sororities and fraternities. Every time you look on a Tubi movie, you see the fucking branding on their arm. It's a corporate entity. HBCUs, that's why they want your black asses to go to them HBCUs, because you're a corporate entity. Check up on your kids. They look for disadvantaged children. They want you to be down and out and desperate. That's why they're trying to dry up donations. The HBCU is going to be the new plantation, the crime scene as it is. Don't let them fool you with these Ukrainians. They got them all employed. As they have Americans in the Ukraine fighting. This is such an energy. That's why I'm talking in circles. All I have to say is what happened to him ain't got no ain't have anything to do with no fraternities. Allegedly. So it's no use of anybody, oh, you shouldn't talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm only reporting the gossip. It's your own Louisiana people know what the fuck is going on. The shit is happening in Texas. The shit was happening right in front of your face at that LSU. Angel Reese, what the fuck you think that was? More and more, I'm peeping these autistic people singing. I seen something on social media. The girl had to be like 7 or 8. She looked like she was maybe from the Philippines. And they were singing Happy Birthday. And she sang that song down. And you know, in those third world countries, especially the Philippines and so on, they study black people. And somebody said in the comments, they said she's stimming, she's autistic. And I went back and looked at the video. She sure was. The funny thing is, as I was talking about Muni Long, they said she's autistic. I said, what is with all these singers that are autistic? Then you have actors who are dyslexic. Everybody got a fucking disability. What does that mean? What's going on? Especially with the autism. I said, no wonder they're hypersexual. You could do any fucking thing. Because someone pointed out to me that polyamorous shit. They were talking about the women are fucking autistic. I say they abused and all the above. Just like with that nature boy shit, them women had to been autistic and abused. Just to say all that, y'all been making a big deal about Dawn Robinson. Dawn was blacklisted. And she talked about that. But I don't care what Dawn talk about. She's an interesting specimen. Remember, she lost her voice. I said, damn, they could at least had her part of that NBA stuff. They had In Vogue. She could have been lip syncing. She just had to lip sync. She was a main part of In Vogue. The industry is so fucked up. They sit around and treat you like a fucking mean girl. But that's what happens when you make the deal with the devil, and then you cross the devil, then the devil crosses you out. Then Lucifer takes his voice from you. Because then Lucifer has his angel, the cherub. What's it called? Cherubs? Have you singing like a bird. Then when you cross them, they take it away. But she's still industry because she's still talking in codes. I said, she's Sly. How Sly from the Family Stones, how he be hiding out. Interesting. Now this is all talked about. This woman been doing this. This is what it is. I know somebody that been talking to her all along. Then she got mad. Dawn is interesting. She has a psychosis. And it's not her fault. It's industry. She's still industry. She's industry homeless. They know where she at. Either looking at her energies, looking at the horoscope, either they're going to build her back up or she's going to be used for a frequency. The industry told her to say this. She just didn't tell you that. She knows the what's up. She okay. She'll be okay. There's only two things that's going to happen. And she knows what it is. Because she made the devil deal. She made 2 devil deals. In Vogue and Lucy Pearl. Anyway. They're going to rebuild Neil's soul. And Neil's soul is going to be in a different energy. That's what they're doing right now. They're building up Neil's soul. So they had to knock out the energies to create the frequencies. Right? And I wouldn't be surprised if they have Erykah Badu as like the lead person, and his white people all behind doing demonic shit with gargoyle behaviors. You're going to have Africa, India, Middle Easterns, all of that popping in. And I was looking at some energies between Jaguar Wright and Angie Stone, because let me tell you something with Angie Stone. People still talking about how weird that shit is, right? Because I don't know what they trying to have with her. Because here it says, it is being reported that Angie Stone's body is missing. I'm waiting for more information. Everything is alleged. Good morning. It's now being alleged that Angie Stone was kidnapped before her death. All of this is alleged, and I'm waiting for more receipts. Did they kidnap her to steal her voice box and do a transplant Allegedly. Because some people say when she was at her performance again, they had to escort off stage because she was forgetting stuff and so on and so on. And some people were saying that it didn't even look like her. When you look at the scene, They say you see a Mercedes, then you see a Prius. Now they're letting us know who was driving. Who cared who was driving? Some people out here talking about that she may have got her hands on something. What the fucks? And me looking at Jaguar Wright, who's up there talking about that she's basically the queen of neo soul. I found that interesting because when I'm looking at the calculations between her and Angie Stone, it calculates, the horoscopes calculate. Because they're doing necromancy. That's why they was giving us code with Puff Daddy. When his attorney left talking about necromancy, they're letting us know they're going to be practicing witchcraft and necromancy. Because they're going to rebuild up the frequency of neo soul. Allegedly. But that's what it appears to be. But with different people. But you guys are not seeing it. Once they uprooted D'Angelo, and then Roy Oyers died, and you look at the two frequencies and the horoscopes, it goes hand in hand. Just like Angie Stone and Jaguar Wright energies go hand in hand. But the energies of Angie Stone's is shared everywhere. Because it's dealing with horoscopes. This is above your pay grade. You're going to say, what the fuck is she talking about? Well, it's above your pay grade. It's like me I was looking at Moni Love and Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah stole the energies of Moni Love. They gave Moni Love energies to Queen Latifah. When I look at the horoscopes and the calculation, it makes sense. Because Queen Latifah is alright, but she's not as entertaining as Moni Love. And if you listen to Queen Latifah talk shit in her old in her old music about Moni Love. Now I don't know what's going on with those two, because allegedly Moni Love was supposed to play Sinclair on Living Single. Okay? So something happened with those two. And you know Jaguar Wright was all in love with some Moni Love, allegedly. So a Pisces, which is Queen Latifah, is always going to have this frequency with the Cancer. Because, you know, Pisces always believe, well, we don't react unless it's necessary. No, Pisces are assholes. But Pisces energy, shadow self, is in the 3rd house. Then it keeps equating. With Moni Love being in the horoscope of Cancer, that's a different frequency. And then as you look at her balance, the end game makes sense to why Queen Latifah basically, how you say, kinged her. It's a chessboard. How you going to move? But the end game, that makes sense. So, of course, Queen Latifah won over Moni Love because at the end game. It's just horoscopes, right? Because then when I peeped at energies of Lauryn Hill and Roberta Flack, that's what Lauryn Hill did. See, the interesting thing is for people to look at the energies, I guess the funeral, whatsoever was supposed to be for Roberta Flack. How does Angie Stone trump Roberta Flack when Roberta Flack has a more frequency in the industry? But remember, it was something going on with Roberta Flack's throat. Didn't they say she have cancer? Well, again, they do donor voice box surgery transplants. I'm being really kindergarten with this. Your larynx. But in reality, did somebody take her larynx or her voice box, which connects to the esophagus, right? And then the spiritual constituents was talking about the lungs and breathing. Because then I was looking, I said, where are all the entertainers and stuff that fuck with a Roberta Flack that are still around. Then you had Lauryn Hill go up there, and when you listen to how she was singing with Wyclef, it was strong. She haven't sounded like that for a minute, and she kind of sounded like Roberta Flack. Remember I told you, what's the white one, Joni Mitchell? Donor? Necromancy. Horoscope. And she reshifted herself, right? Look up transplants and voice box, transplants and donor. But yeah, it's above y'all pay grade. Then she kept bringing up Nina Simone. When she brought up Nina Simone, I'm talking about Lauryn Hill, I went back and looked at the frequencies of Nina Simone. Now, they're alleging that Nina Simone went and stole energy from Billie Holiday, even though Billie Holiday was older than her. This is horoscope shit, right? And when I look at the frequencies between Nina Simone and Billie Holiday had the stronger energy, but Nina Simone could grab the frequencies. Okay? However, Nina Simone, it was way younger than Billie Holiday, but it seemed like Nina Simone had some other shit popping off, allegedly being a young woman. Because allegedly they said that Nina Simone was jealous of Billie Holiday, but Billie Holiday was messing with Frank Sinatra. And then they're alleging that Nina Simone was messing with Frank Sinatra because, you know, people in the industry saying that Nina Simone was a ho-ho and very hypersexual and she'll fuck a doorman. So we're not going to fuck around and play games and act like this wasn't going on with her. And this is people in the industry putting their finger on Nina Simone saying this is what this is. So we have to understand frequencies with these people because Nina Simone, Roberta Flack, even Billie Holiday will be under what? Neo Soul to rebuild up the frequency under the necromancy. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm telling you what it is. These people can't build shit on their own. They have to do necromancy because they don't have the voice or the power or the spirit, so they're going to basically sacrifice to get the spirit, allegedly. Basically like a similar energy to like Paulo, right? I just went back and was looking at KC from Jodeci with Mary J. Blige. When I looked at Mary J. Blige energy with KC, no wonder he was fighting her. You got to break this shit down to capacity. Of course he was fighting her. They should have never been together. And especially like even with Lizzo now we got to be careful because they are also reshifting people and their persona. So like you see Lizzo then lost weight. You see Lizzo has changed her whole frequency. She done went dark. That's because they moved her from one energy into another energy because what they do is match you to with your horoscope. So therefore, if I'm a Cancer, I'm going to have fat arms. I'm going to look like this. I'm going to look like that. So all they did was restructure. And pushed her back into a certain frequency. Okay? So anyway, it's a movement of being recrowned. They're recrowning these energies. And so they have moved Lizzo into a different frequency. And it's not working for her. The same thing with Miss Elliott, even though that's not her. But they moved her into a different frequency. Just like they're going to have neo-gospel. Neo-gospel, neo-soul, but just new versions. Anyway. So, did y'all see that energies with Tamar and I guess T.S. Madison and this person named Craig Stewart. And I was looking at their astrologies, well, horoscopes. Let me say this. That was a whole publicity stunt, but it's not a good publicity stunt. And more, as they keep trying to pull women into this subculture of fruitfulaz, is getting worse. None of it makes sense, but it's very much psychological. When I was hearing the back and forth with them, I was becoming irritated. And I was becoming irritated because women, we are the mothers, right? You have people on social media. Let me see if I can find it. Hopefully. That is trying to talk about the word female and the connection to the energy female to slavery. Here it is, this person. They call themselves Wicked. Is it Wicked Confections? Wicked Confections. And she was trying to break down how female is connected to slavery. Let me say this to you. Woman, women, female. Because women has male energy and female energy. Slavery and calling a black woman a female has nothing to do with nothing. Because they didn't even call us females. They call us men and nothing else. They didn't even consider us human. To even being called a female, you're human. They said we wasn't human. You can't believe everything that they tell you in movies and shit. Okay? Being called a female and all that shit, that's nigga shit. That's dumb shit. Right? Because at the end of the day, we create men. And men have this philosophy is you can't live without us because it comes because if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be able to have children. Come out our dick balls. Well, in reality, if women forgot ourselves, because women can actually impregnate ourselves, but that's above your pay grade. That's why they call us females, women, and woman, which goes back even to the ISIS effect. Because once we jumped out the water, we basically forgot ourselves. Even in the Old Testament, it tells you that basically woman impregnated herself. She gave permission. She created the man. She gives him permission. But that's above your pay grade. Hearing all this back and forth between gay men with women, TSs with women. Sounds childish. I was telling a spiritual constituent, I was looking at the real Jalen and I think his husband, Ricardo, and their whole energy is cosplay. And when you look at them in the food that I guess Jalen allegedly makes for him, we're going to give it for giggles and laughs. It's childish. Was it crush Takis and all that shit? It's childish. Macaroni is childish. At the end of the day, both of those men want their mamas. These people out here having mommy issues, then it incorporates daddy. Black kids need their mothers, and whatever is going on, there's an issue going on with mommy. And maybe if we look at it a little differently, since gay people have an issue assuming that I'm saying they're jealous, maybe I'm just going to say that you're fucking vindictive. And it's psychological warfare. Because women are out here believing that they are inadequate. They're insecure. They're not good enough. They feel because you may have a man and they don't, that you know more than them. They transform themselves. I had a spiritual constituent say that they went to the Zulu ball and she had on cowboy boots and she accidentally stepped on a person's his cape. And she was saying how the older gays have an issue with the younger gays in a trance that were there because they was doing too much and they made it boring. This is allegedly, but this is what they're saying. And she said when she accidentally stepped on his cape, he was about to turn around and let her the fuck have it. Until an older couple, because she went with her friends, who the two males, they're gay, and the older one had to check the other gay male to stop him from getting on her line. But it's time to put everything in perspective. The current state of energies, when I looked at the energies with Tamar, is domestic violence. It's mental, physical, and verbal abuse. And men are warlocks with their tongues. Of course they can clown you because they're men. But why are we not really looking at the vindictive energy and what each person is looking for? And as us being women, we got to treat them as children. What it comes down to as women, we have to baby this community. We have to stop feeding into their shit. They're cosplaying. They're in a fucking daycare putting on dresses and skirts. They're having tantrums. They're enforcing. They're stomping their feet. They're acting like a 13-year-old girl. And I'm talking about this energy, this new subculture. They make it wrong to say anything. You say anything, then they want to attack you. Well, you must, oh, sweet cakes, you must be, oh, you must feel. Who gives a fuck? You're a child. I'm a woman who've had children. You can't come at me. I just have to treat you accordingly to who you are, and that's what women have to understand. And we should kind of hang up our vaginas for a minute because there's too much shit going on. I'm seeing too much shit with baby daddies pillow talking with their boyfriends about their baby mama. Getting on the phone, talking to their baby mama while they at their boyfriend's house. I seen one where they were talking about Detroit dudes, this is how they deal with their baby mamas when they with their man. He up there talking about her discharge and all that shit. Whoa. They talking about us pillow talking? They pillow talk. And it's come to the point, it's vindictive. If you gonna do what you do over here, why are you bringing your baby mama in this conversation? Vindictive and cosplaying, looking for mother, angry, want to be disciplined. When I seen that shit, the real Jalen, and he's always snapping at people, I said, "Oh, this is condescending. This is supposed to make women jealous." You got the husband who needs a daddy and a mama, because he it looked like he's mad that his dad wasn't there being the man, but his mother wasn't being the woman. Then you got Jalen, who looked like he needs support, and he wants to be the woman that his mother should be. Then he gets angry, go off on people. Then you got the husband always talking about he want to bang his back out, and what is it? They're gonna know his name. Always looking at his long clip nails because he's pulling a Mr. Netta. He's whipping out money. I said, oh, that's an energy. That's for women to be jealous, vindictive. Right? Men will always attack you. The funny thing is, lesbians are getting up there too. Right? That's why I said, women, stop getting advice from men about how to suck dick and all that shit. It's not the same concept. It's not the same energy, right? Women can't even. I was looking at Carnival. I was tired of seeing men in hot pants doing samba, trying to outdo the women. Vindictive, right? Let's stop saying jealousy. They're just vindictive, and you have to treat them like children. But the number one thing is, what can we do as women and mothers? Because these men need mommies. Y'all want to give these new names, trades and all of that. I call them cis men, frufala. They need mamas. Anger. Right? You got studs now acting like them, talking about women's vaginas, smelling like fish, talking about when they stick those dildos and their toys in their vaginas, they have a backpack. I said, well, that's rude. That means if that woman has an odor, she must have been doing it to a man. But studs and lesbians, they talking about y'all over diking. Y'all angry with the men, but you pissed off at your mama. Everything always leads back to a woman. How in the hell you a woman, you talking about another woman's vagina? And you sticking those toys and gadgets up in there. First of all, to be honest with you, those things are not supposed to be up in a woman's vagina. I understand they made it for that, but that's not where it's supposed to be, because that's a frequency and it messes with the reproductive system. and you're entering in the devil. Each time you use a strap-on, that's a devil inside the woman. You're changing the frequency of the woman. And if you go use it on different women, you're passing and transferring the entity, the deity, the soul. And if you are going to use that goddamn shit, you need to be getting an autoclave. And then check that shit out with a woods lamp. I had a spiritual constituents talk about a strip, I guess, to check the temperature if it's even clean enough. But you lesbians got a whole lot of nerve, and y'all on the DL, fucking men, and getting pregnant, and coming up with HIV, sneaking in those bookstores and video stores, hunting for men to have sex with. What you on? All y'all are cosplaying. That's what I realized. I said, I'm not going to be sitting up here arguing. There's nothing to argue about. I just looked at that Tamar. I said, oh, wow. I look at other cultures, and white kids always bounce back a little differently, right? But it's something about, they have studied about the black family. You always need the mom. But that crack and them drugs took us out. Took our parents out. Took the black man out. Black men need to still be mothered. That's why they're trying to enforce us to be women. Coming up with polyamorous and your man is God. That's bullshit. The man is he's the man of the house and man. You still need to be mothered. Do you know how many men I've talked to that have broken down? Come on now. Then it leads into vindictiveness. That's why I said at this point, who cares who you fucking? Because in reality, as women, we need to hang it up. And I'm about tired of these white transvestites always trying to fight black women and put us in a position. Y'all hear about that Kara Rogan? The council member somewhere in Smithfield? The young lady thought it was a woman at first, but it was a whole man's. Harassing her to find out he's a damn council member. I said, this is not the first time I've seen a white trans man harassing a black woman and then trying to fight her. I said, so we got trans white men trying to fight us. We have trans black men trying to fight us. We have gay black men trying to fight us. We got studs trying to fight us. Well, goddamn. And when I was talking about the Atlanta Housewives, when I say insecurities and feeling inadequate, that's what I'm talking about. If you have a male gay friend and you have a friend like, say, Saucy Santana, you gonna listen and hang on to every word he says. Get plastic surgery, get your face done, get your hips done. Oh my God, this and that, da. Why would you listen to him? He's a man. You a woman. You birth children. You have periods. You go into menopause. And menopause is more wicked than a fucking period. When that man told Tamar, I guess in so many words, he could really get with her, I was interested. I wanted him to go in. I wanted to see what he was going to say. Because in reality, you don't have to say too much to people. It's psychological. All of this has been psychological warfare. All these men been playing psychological warfare on women. The more we become angry, the more they cut up. The more they become vindictive. The more they become abusive and verbal abusive. The more they walk in fashion shows with prosthetic titties. Because they know it gets on our nerves, it makes us angry. But men are little boys. So they're looking for mommies. It's the devil. Devil's a liar. I was looking at some energies about AIDS in the 80s. And I was looking at it because I wanted to compare AIDS to HIV today. I'm waiting for them to pull the plug on the HIV medicines. It's going to be real interesting. Because when you go back and you listen to old school energies and activists, like the activist Michael Kalin, and he was talking about how the lesions, and they call KS lesions, read KS lesions, and I think it's called KAPOSI sarcoma, a cancer that causes lesions in the soft tissues, causes lesions to grow in the skin and lymph nodes, internal organs, and mucus and membrane linings, and the nose. And you know, you have people dying of, they'll tell you cancer. It's like Dwayne Wiggins. They said cancer in hospice, right? I've met Dwayne Wiggins. I've been around Dwayne Wiggins. He was at my cousin's funeral. I like him better than Raphael Sadiq. Is it Sadiq or Sadak? Sadiq? I like him better. He has a better energy. But when I heard about the energies, it's funny. I was just talking about him to a spiritual constituent, and then that happens. And I keep telling you guys, when they talking about this cancer, old school shit. I'm just saying allegedly. I'm just saying just look at things differently. I just read to you. And they were talking about how in the different spots in the 80s, how different individuals were getting AIDS. They were talking about the bathhouses, the backroom bookstores, balconies, tea rooms, and meat racks. And they were saying that it was targeting, they said, a historical phenomenon that is attacking gay men in the urban setting. And AIDS, white men were the face of AIDS. They tricked us with Magic Johnson with HIV. They made HIV the face of black people, and that shit with Magic Johnson is what set it off. But it was always the white man, the white gay man. Then it trickled into, of course, the black community. Okay? But it was the face. And they were talking about, like, they were alleging, like, the first man, gay male, got it from some monkeys, and they blamed Africa. But the funny thing is, in Thailand and in those Indonesian countries and China, they have a thing about primates. And I've seen shit, and I know it's Thailand, where they talked about how they chain up primates and have sex with them, and train the primates to have sex with people, because some, I guess, the male energies have larger penises, and they were insinuating that the white gay man was having bestiality sex, that it had nothing to do with Africa. They forget during the Vietnam War, there was that whole energy of the first frequency of AIDS. And remember, in Dead Presidents, Chris Tucker said they were dropping a lug in that movie. Art imitates life, life imitates art. This has been in a frequency for years. And I told you guys, and what this person was saying is, they're taking out the gay people with AIDS. So when we have the new school gay people, they're interesting. That's why I think about black women. This is not Sylvester and 2 tons of fun type of frequency. These new form of gay black guys and transvestites are not Sylvester. They're not enjoying women like that. They're too busy trying to be your godmother. Sylvester wasn't 2 tons of fun's godmother. I put that out there because that's a template. They killed that whole era with AIDS. Eddie Murphy got caught up with that transvestite who was HIV positive. And they arrested the transvestite that he was trying to mess around with. I think his name was Addison, 20 years old. Because apparently at that time in California, they had passed a law that prostitutes had to sign some kind of document that they'll come in and get tested. And he had a warrant for his arrest for not getting tested with the HIV. But they're alleging that transvestite had HIV that Eddie Murphy picked up. And then Eddie Murphy did this joke, and I guess about AIDS and stuff like that, and the gay community was upset. And in San Francisco, they was pointing out how they took all his albums. At least they didn't cancel him, right? They was like, we're not going to have his albums here. They made their point. What happened to the AIDS quilt? What happened to the rodeos and different organizations and everything that have focused around AIDS? That's why today people are not educated. That back then, and they was trying to protect themselves. After all that came, heterosexual people were cutting up. That AIDS was a cold spell and a cold demon. Now they came with another demon called HIV, which is more black orientated, right? In Australia, they have some reparations going on that maybe black people should understand. They were talking about black indigenous people were tall. The original people were tall, so because they were talking about basketball players, they were talking about that the indigenous people here in the Americas were like 7 feet tall. And then they said when the white folks came, they were shorter. They tried to get us with the Vikings and all that. That shit ain't real. Did you know the first Vikings were black? And you know what's coming up? What isn't it? Or has it already passed? St. Patrick's Day. You better say thank you to the Pygmies, the original people of Ireland. the Lord of the Rings, the leprechauns, your Termic, your St. Patrick, who went and fucked around with them. You know, the real people of Ireland, the pygmies? Yeah. And then they kidnapped them from Ireland and pushed them into Africa. Took the crowns of the real Vikings and created these white folks. In Louisiana, you know how they do the costuming and the beading? And I told somebody, I said, that's a glass, that's a lickies. And the feathers that look like dragons and stuff like that. And we don't even think about connecting that to even Viking energy. Who would have known? That's why I talked about the whole energies of the supposed Shaka Zulu, that it really came from the United States, and they all were tall because they were fucking natives, indigenous. Anyway, in Australia, they won their land back, and they're going to get compensation. And it's basically for loss of native title rights. Hint, hint. And basically, they're going to give back their indigenous ownership. So instead of fighting for reparations of Africa, you should be fighting for the loss of native title rights, of them stealing the land. Because that's what, I guess the Swiss came in and took their land. Well, that's what we can do here. Did y'all see that Ukrainian family when the black woman was at the graduation, and the Korean and the Ukrainian white man didn't want the black woman to sit next to him, and he cut up with her, and then the white woman, the Ukrainian woman, went and swung at the black woman, said she'll kill her, and then spat at her, and then the black sheriff didn't do shit. I said, I'll be damned. I said, what's up with these weak ass black women now? Weak as fuck. Remind me of what my spiritual constituents was telling me, how black women be paying dues to get in Lyft to come fuck them, and then pay for them to leave with their own Lyft. I said that black women didn't do all that. What happened is nothing going on but the rent. You gotta have a JOB to be with me. What happened to all that? What dude pay? What woman? Y'all are some different ones. You know, I seen that crazy ass movie, that Amelia Perez with that damn Zoe. That movie was weird as fuck. It had a Mexican guy that went into trance and then had a lesbian relationship. I was confused. And I don't think Zoe is fucking Dominican or whatever I think she's just a half-breed, a biracial woman. Now, Selena Gomez, I think she's Latina because she's a little bit more fluent. And so was the character that played was that Carla Sofia? But Zoe, I don't know. She could not speak Spanish. I said, she's not a Latina. And I don't understand why she won Oscars and Academy. She wasn't that good in it. I actually like Selena Gomez, but the movie was weird as fuck. And then it kind of give you the energies around the world that does plastic surgery. But it's kind of funky because I was like, why would he hide out and go around the world? This Mexico, they do plastic surgery right there. Wait a minute, I don't understand what's going on here. He was a drug cartel person in that damn movie. I was studying cinema, and I was noticing that white people have always been brutal and nasty in movies. Nasty, really, really, really freaky, and beat up on women and shit, and just been very brute-like. I noticed black people didn't become that way till the 70s in cinema when the black exploitation movies came along. That's when I started noticing black men being hecka disrespectful and nasty towards black women and rapey. Because when you look at like white cinema and even Japanese cinema, especially Italian cinema, they always having sex. The women are always in lesbian frequencies. They always raping women. They beating them up all the time. But you never seen that in black cinema. But in black cinema, it started in the 70s. I was looking at Dolomite. I said, that man was gay as hell wearing lashes. And butt naked in a fucking jumpsuit. Stop playing. It was a lot of that going on, trans energy, gay and stuff, and we didn't peep it. Right? What's going on with the children of the dam going to botanicas and mystical stores, harassing people trying to pray, talking about that basically it's a sin and it's demonic? Oh, that's the new church? I told you guys the price of occultism and spirituality is going to go up and it's going to go underground. So understand, I'm not a hotep. I'm a fucking occultist. I'm telling you what it is. I said, oh, is that the games they playing? Okay. Got you. Up there praying, going to them places, talking about they want to shut it down. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down with Cain and Abel. The next time somebody come to your botanica, say, Cain, Cain. I'm going Cain. I'm the daughter of Cain. You damn Abels. I'm Cain. And then read the Lord's Prayer and take authority and say, start saying the Lord's Prayer on them. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Because that was the old, because they used to use thy, I. I'm taking the authority on earth, I think, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And then you take the energies back because you're using thy. And some of y'all be like, no, that's not what it says. Oh, yes, it does in old scriptures, in old books. Because just like in some scripture, it will say, am I your brother's keeper? Talking to God or talking to the entity. But then Cain will say, am I? Meaning he's taking control of the concept. That's why I said the next time somebody come at you about some God and Jesus shit and minding your business, you just say Cain. And they gonna come at you with more scripture. Just holler Cain. Just holler the Old Testament on their asses. And then start reading the Lord's Prayer and start using thy. In Texas, when are you finally gonna get into your dark works? When are you going to get into the patrons and holy death? When are you going to get into your supposed Apollos and your necromancies? When are you going to do that? When are you going to get into your Southern Gothic, your Southwest magic, right? When is that going to happen? They out here talking about zombies, lucid energies. They're called Lucidin. Lazarus, terminal lucidity. Basically, that's when people are about to die and they start to see things. And I found it very interesting that they're trying to say that means that they perform a dementia. any kind of way to take spirit away. They don't have dementia. They're really seeing the spirits that's calling them. And they're talking about how people are coming back from the dead because they don't want to be in hell. People who don't want to leave, they're coming back. I told you the dead is going to rise again. And they keep talking about dead people who's supposed to be dead coming back. They're buried and they're coming back. Do you understand? And technically Pope Francis, he don't want to die. He's afraid. He opened up that goddamn thing and he's seen what he's seen. And now the demons are coming at him. They're trying to bring him. He's probably dead by now, whatever's going on with his ass. But that man is afraid of what he's seen. He don't want to go. He doesn't want to go. Pope Francis, my kid's father did that before he died. Supposedly the energies always happen 2 to 3 weeks before a person dies. In his case, his soul left him. You could still walk around as an empty energy, but your soul gone. His soul was gone because he was bothering me. And then he was dead. I seen it with my mom. She was talking to her best friends. And then 2 weeks later, dead. Stop playing with these spirits. And I told you, and they said that one case of a person coming back zombie-like was in Indonesia. I believe every bit. I told y'all about that Indonesia. I don't fuck around with Indonesia and their energies. Did you see Chris Rock? He's a whole FreakyTales. Did you see how tight his face is, that plastic surgery? You know, they out here talking about that dang Al Reynolds, how he had on a mask and the mask had uplifted, and I asked the question, I said, was it him or not? And she was like, yeah, it's him, but it's something else going on underneath there. And how he didn't got a BBL and allegedly Botox, allegedly hair dye, allegedly and fillers, allegedly. Whole FreakyTales, right? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.